Welcome to another episode of Black Nail Knives. I'm Royce, and today we will be reviewing the Medford Praetorian Slim Flipper in Tonto. Now, when you first purchase this knife, it comes with a beautiful case, warranty card information, and everything. So this is one thing I really love about these knives, is the case, and it's waterproof. Store your knife in. So let's get down to it. This will be a quick video, won't be too long. But right here we have the Medford Praetorian Slim Flipper, and this is a Tonto blade, a black PVD, S35 blade, tumbled titanium handle, and lock side also. It's a nice clip. So now this is a nice knife. I really enjoy this knife. It has great action. It's barely broken in. It's not quite broken in yet, but this is a nice knife comparatively to all my other flippers that I've had. I really like this. This knife is one of the first knives that they have riding on bearings. I guess they're starting to do that now. I'm not too familiar with all of their knives, but I know I love their knives. When I see them, I gravitate towards them, those in the hinderers, and this is one that I really like and I had to get my hands on. Now the overall length is 7.6 inches. Closed, it's 4.35 inches. And the blade length is exactly 3.25 inches. And the thickness is 0.125 inches. So it's a very thin knife, very thin blade, I should say. Actually, the whole entire knife is pretty thin, you know, which is a nice carry. This makes for a great carry in your pocket, you know, on your belt, in a purse, for the women who enjoy these knives. Okay, it's about 4 ounces, 3.9. On their website it says 4 ounces, so very close. So it's a light knife, but the blade is actually the same length as a Praetorian Genesis. So it's much thinner. The Praetorian Genesis is obviously much wider blade. And so I have a small comparison here. We can compare it to, that's the Benchmade Great. Okay, as you can see, it's a shorter blade, but it's nice and wide as the Great. Then we have a 3-inch Hinderer XM18 Warncliffe blade. Okay, as you can see, it's definitely much smaller than that. Much smaller than a Praetorian. Okay, but it actually weighs about I think it's 3.4 ounces. So it's a little lighter, not quite, not much. And here we have it against the Lion Steel Rock ROK. Quite similar lengths on the blade. And one last comparison, we'll compare it with one of my favorites, the ZT-0562 tie. Now you can see that blade is much larger. Looks like maybe a 1/4 of an inch. And it's definitely lighter though than the ZT. This knife is much lighter than the ZT. So let's get into it. Now I purchased this knife. This was about, I would say, my my 4th Medford knife that I purchased. So I didn't know quite what I was into, what I was in for, but I know I love flippers, so I'm like, you know what? Let me get a flipper, and that's what I did. And I'm satisfied with this as a flipper. I really do like it. Comparably, this is, of course, this is a Praetorian T. This is an older model. It's a nice model. It's my first Medford. It's a beautiful knife. I love it. So it's much smaller, but the blade is not that much shorter if you look comparably, because it's actually the same length as a Praetorian Genesis. So you have about maybe a 1/2 inch shorter, quite possibly, because I think this is 3.75 inches. The Praetorian T. And the action on this knife is perfect. It's a great action. And it's barely broken in. Like I said, the knife is about 2 days old right now. So it's not really quite broken in. But the only thing I don't like about this knife, the smallest drawbacks, there's 2 of them. which shouldn't prevent anyone from purchasing this knife if you really do like it. I purchased it from DLTtrading.com. I've gotten most of my knives from them. But one of the small drawbacks is the lock. The lock is very tight. It has a over travel stop. But this lock, it's a frame lock, and that lock is really tight, and it actually hurts. I've been playing with this knife for the last 2 days, and it's getting to the point where it's really hurting now. It's starting to hurt my thumb. And I'm hoping that once it breaks in, you know, perhaps it will be much easier to handle. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm not sure if it will be or not, but that's what we're looking for. And the only other thing, now this is a very nice and small knife where you can grip it. It's got great ergonomics. It's very thin, nice slicing. You can do a lot of good slicing. There's no jimping at all compared to all of the other Medfords, Praetorians. They have much more jimping, okay, along the blade, along the handle. This has no jimping, very little jimping, which is right on the flipper. Okay, it's not on that side, closer to the blade. It's a small choil, sharpening choil, but you can feel it, very little, but you can feel it on your finger as you choke up on this knife. And you know, besides the lock being very tight, which I'm sure there's a reason for it, the clip. I wish it had, you know, some of the, I think it's the Marauders. They come with a clip similar to this, to the older clips, but it's thinner. It's much thinner and smaller. I wish they had that type of clip on this knife, because when you're choking up and you feel that clip pushing up against your palm, you know, you can definitely feel it, and it's kind of uncomfortable, I should say. And then in the reverse hand position, you still feel it also, but it rides perfectly right below the middle finger, so it's not that bad. This way it's a little more rough, but you can get used to that. And these knives sell for, I think they're $5.50 for this configuration. If you were to configure it on medfordknife.com, or to purchase it from an authorized dealer, which I did, like I said, DLT, where I get most of my knives. So it's a great knife. I think if you like Medfords and you enjoy the Praetorian series, it's a great knife to get into. It's a nice flipper. I'm hoping when this knife is broken in, it'll be much easier on the thumb. If not, I'm sure I'll have a callus by then to to be able to deal with it. So also, if you see the over travel stops, I'm sorry, the blade stop, you see those are actually hidden, which is a good thing. You know, they're hidden. You only see them in the middle of deployment. You don't see them when the knife is closed. You don't see them when the blade is deployed. You only see them, you know, when the knife is in battery. So basically when it's not actually deployed or closed all the way. So that's a pretty neat thing I like. And with this knife also has the fuller, so I'm not quite good at the reverse flick, but yeah, see. But as with Medford's, the Praetorian series that don't have, well, actually more than just the Praetorian series, there's a few Medfords that actually have this fuller, to where you never actually have to use a flipper, because this model comes with or without a flipper. So you can purchase it either way. And then you could just use that fuller, and that right there would, you know, bring your knife into a locked position. And those who are professionals at, you know, finger flipping, middle finger flipping this knife, they know how to do it. I don't. I'll get there, I'm sure. So this has been a review of the Medford Praetorian Slim Flipper. Hope you guys like the video. Enjoy, you know, subscribe. I have more videos on the way. And this is Royce, and I'm signing out for Black Nail Knives. Gots to be more careful.